what's the name of that composer? Did the stuff on player piano. Lived in Mexico. Drawing a blank at the moment. He's great. He'll come to me.
It wasn't Charles Ives.
No, not Charles Ives. He composed canons and things for player piano. He lived in Mexico. He's an American.
Okay.
His wife was an important archaeologist for the Plaza Mayor in Mexico City. Anyway, his work. I listen to all kinds of music, romantic music, especially Chopin, Debussy, like that stuff. Bartók, Schoenberg, Shostakovich, Stockhausen. Probably the only kind of music I don't really like is soft rock and elevator music, dentist office music, that kind of stuff. I just don't like it.
How about jazz? Do you listen?
Jazz, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because recently I've been listening to some kind of, I guess, avant-garde jazz, like Cecil Taylor and stuff like that. Yeah, I've been becoming interested in that recently. And I don't know, just some of what you said reminded me of that.
Oh yeah. There's great stuff there. As you can see, there's recordings all over the place.
Yeah. Well, that's why.
And this is only half of it.
I had to ask.
There's more upstairs.
Wow.
My wife complains. Not more CDs.
Have you lived in this house long?
Yeah, I've lived here since 1971.
So you raised your family here? Nice place.
Yeah, well, it's small. We added 2 rooms onto it. There's one room there over the driveway, and another room in back. But thank God I have the library where I can take all the mail I get, publications and so on.
Is there a lot of there's a lot of interest in that avant writing library? I mean, people want to access it often, or
well, not a massive amount of interest. The people who are interested in it mostly are people involved in the visual arts or artist books, for example. The English department has no interest whatsoever.
Really? Wow.
Just blank. I've made a couple of attempts to interest people in it over there, but the English department, like most in this country, is very closed off in its own little world, and doesn't want to see anything outside their little structures of rhetoric and their careerist stuff.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, it is, because there's all this stuff that different people are doing that's unusual and new, and they could learn from it.
Yeah,
their students could learn from it. I've had students who work for me in the library who are in the English department, and they're usually quite amazed by what they see in the collection, because I have them processing materials, and so they see it. And so the students would be interested in it, but
wow, so it's got to be kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I don't worry about it very much. It's always been that way, as I say. All the writers throughout history that I think are important in their lifetimes were marginalized from the institutions and the academies of their time. And they had trouble getting published. They had to publish it themselves or raise a subscription to get their stuff published and printed. So...
But they still teach Beckett at school, right?
Oh yeah, they teach.
So I would think people would want to. Some of those classes would want to look at what you have, right? Or...
Well, yeah, they would look at the Beckett material. They're not too interested in Burroughs. We do get people interested in Burroughs, but they're not academics.
Who are they?
People who are interested in Burroughs, other writers or people interested in avant-garde art and so on. I mean, they come to OSU from all over the place to look at stuff, or they want us to send things. And, because we have finding aids for the collections online, and they can peruse them and see what's there.
Any strange people ever show up?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I don't want to go into that, but that's happens in all libraries. You get nuts coming in, or people are a little odd, but.
So I think still Burroughs isn't taught in universities, basically.
I don't think so.
I mean, I never studied him at school, but
yeah,
or even the beats. A little bit of Ginsberg, I think.
Yeah,
we studied, but
yeah, in general, that whole promotion, that whole school, you could say, or that generation of writers is not taught. I mean, a few places occasionally they are, but at OSU, I don't think they teach Burroughs. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I know when one of my boys wanted to read Naked Lunch for a class project in high school, the teacher told him, "No, you can't do that."
Oh, really? But it still seems a lot of people read that stuff on their own, right?
Absolutely. I
mean, most people at a certain age probably read Kerouac, Burroughs, Henry Miller, But as far as I know, it's not taught in universities. Or
very little.
Yeah.
That's right. It's this separate culture. I mean, the avant-garde, or the avant-gardes, have their own unique history and their own culture, their own stream of activity, and they know about their predecessors, and they're moving forward, and it's a separate stream.
Do you consider all those writers avant-garde that I mentioned?
Well, yeah, they are an avant-garde. The beats, that term, most of them who are considered beats didn't like that denomination.
The term.
But that's something that occurred in popular culture about them. I think the most adventurous aesthetically of them was Burroughs. I mean, he did all kinds of stuff that most people don't know about. He did all this cutting up tapes and splicing them together and transcribing them, all these cut-up texts that he did. That's similar in some ways to what people are doing. In fact, I sometimes wonder if my approach to writing in some way reflects what I read of Burroughs' cut-up period in the early 60s, because he did it by literally cutting up.
So he would record his voice.
Well, he did tape, but he also did paper. He would write stuff, and then he would literally cut it with scissors and reassemble sheets and produce a text. And then he would transcribe it, and that's the new text. And it produces a certain kind of sound, a certain kind of rhythm. I, in some ways, write